Communication is one of the keys to any relationship, romantic or otherwise. But with romantic relationships, you need to be able to talk to your partner about issues as they arise. Trust, respect, and honesty are the cornerstones to make that possible. If you're always worried about their reaction to the things you say, the opinions or desires you have, you're going to be much less likely to open up, understandably. What happens when you disagree? I'm not talking about how to fill the dishwasher, though something as simple as that could spark a reaction in some men. But what about differences on how to raise children? Whether to even have them? Personal grooming? Going out with friends regularly? Politics? Or changing your last name after marriage? How does it feel? Physically? Emotionally? Are you sick to your stomach? Do you get angry? Does your body shake? What happens in the moment when you say something that should be straightforward and the air in the room changes before you've even finished the sentence? That feeling in your body isn't simply anxiety. The feeling is also information. It's your nervous system telling you it's already learned what disagreements cost in this relationship. What happens in the moment when you say, "I thought we agreed we were going to keep separate checking accounts," and he tenses, saying something along the lines of, "What are you talking about? We agreed to combine them," which then turns his mood sour as you defend your position. A position you shouldn't have to defend if you already agreed. The tantrum he throws is him pushing your boundary, pushing to see if you'll back down the way that he wants, so his choice is the one you go along with in the end. Gaslighting can look something like him asking you to stop buying beer at the store when you do groceries to help him quit drinking. When you agree and try to do just that, he gets upset because you don't love him as he is, or he can handle one or two drinks. So you end up buying the beer which he requested you not buy in the first place. You start to expect their responses and reactions. The flare of temper, the talking down, the gaslighting. So you don't want to bring anything up at all. You don't want to rock the boat. But what happens is the lack of communication means it's his decisions, his choices, being the only ones that matter. They end up being the rule of the house. This is even more evident when physical abuse is tied into these situations. Talking back or raising your voice would not only create a verbal argument, but potentially a physical reaction as well. Something that can also happen when you don't communicate is they might turn it around on you. "Why didn't you say something?" Or "You could have talked to me." Or "I'd rather you were honest about how you felt." When the reality is, you know for a fact they don't want you being honest about how you feel. Here's something worth naming directly. For women who already struggle with confrontation, and there are many of us, bringing up an issue or concern that's bothering you takes courage in any relationship. Even in a healthy one with a partner who is safe and willing to listen, finding the words, the quote-unquote right moment, and the nerve to say something difficult is genuinely hard. Now imagine doing that when you already expect the reaction, when you've already learned how he'll react to what he deems to be disrespect, or when you appear skeptical of his decisions. When you arrived at this relationship, having spent years, possibly a lifetime, absorbing the message that keeping the peace was more important than telling the truth. Those women don't need much gaslighting to start doubting themselves. The self-doubt was already there. He just learned where it lived and used it against her, which means she's not crazy for believing him over herself. She's someone whose instinct to question her own reality was already well practiced long before he arrived. The gaslighting worked so well because it felt familiar. So, how do you know the difference between a partner who struggles to communicate and one who is using confusion as control? Bad communication feels frustrating. Gaslighting makes you feel crazy. With bad communication, both people leave the conversation wanting resolution, even if they haven't found it yet. With gaslighting, she leaves the conversation wondering if the conversation even happened the way she remembers it. Bad communication can be worked on. It will respond to patience, therapy, and two people deciding the relationship matters enough to do things differently. Gaslighting does not respond to those things because it isn't a problem he's trying to solve. Her confusion is the end goal, keeping her off balance, making sure his choices remain unchallenged, and maintaining the dynamic exactly how it serves him best. The double bind, where every choice she makes is somehow the wrong one. It doesn't mean that she's failing at the relationship. It's a signal that the relationship has been designed so that she can't succeed. Her body knows this before her mind does, when she feels sick to her stomach, or when she shakes trying to defend her position, that dread settling in before she even opens her mouth. She wasn't bad at communicating. She was simply communicating in a language he had no interest in hearing. I'm Rhea. I hope you'll join me as I continue this conversation. Until next time.